It's Cyrus Dale, fiction author out of the suburbs of Chicago. Today I want to get on and read a story that's called The Voices of Route 53. Now, I posted this story on Facebook about a year ago, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it here. I got it printed out here. I'm going to read it and put it on my channel. So here it is, The Voices of Route 53, written by me, Cyrus Dale. Locally, the signs gave this road a nickname. The nickname was Bolingbrook Drive, but everyone in the town still referred to the road as Route 53, or more commonly, just 53. The road was the heartbeat of the town. There was easily over $1 million transacted on this road on a daily basis. From Walmart to Dollar Tree, from City Sports to the I-55 truck stop, one could find it all on Route 53 in Bolingbrook. If one loved the bustling road so much, they could even find housing located just along Route 53. That is precisely what Francine Walters did. Her 6-year-old son, Tori, and she moved into a newly remodeled townhome in the Beacon Ridge subdivision. Tori loved his room. From his window, he could see the monster of a road in ways that others couldn't. He could see the different drivers of the 834 bus that drove past on their route hourly. One driver wore a COVID mask and never talked. One always had a smile on her face as she looked in her rearview mirror at her animated passengers. And one drove like a bat out of hell. He saw how before he'd go to school, the drive-thru of Dunkin' had a line as if everything were free. And when he'd return home from school, the Popeyes had the same kind of line. He saw the homeless push their carts that they borrowed from Walmart that had all their belongings in it. As he looked on, all he could hear during the day was the sound of cars accelerating, braking, and blasting music. At nighttime, the sound was quite the polar opposite. These occurrences often made Tori forget about his Black Panther-themed room that his mother and uncle worked so hard to bring to fruition. His mother hardly cared that Tori barely noticed his decorations. As long as Tori was content, so was she. But one day, her contentness changed. Every Wednesday, Francine would invite her old friends from the Abla homes over to play bid whist. Tori knew to stay upstairs in his room while the adults had some friendly, drunken competition. So when Francine saw Tori appear, she knew something was wrong. "Mama, I hear the voices again," Tori yelled over Luther Vandross's song, "Promise Me." "Boy, what voices?" Francine yelled back, briefly breaking her concentration of her card game. "They want to help me," Tori explained. "Boy, I told you about eating all that sugar. That candy got your imagination unhealthy. Go to bed," she said, dismissing Tori. He complied and went back up to his room. "Probably somebody outside arguing or something," her friend Jerry suggested. Francine shook her head. "That boy done lost his mind." A week later, Francine laid in her queen-size bed with a glass of Capriccio in her hand. She watched episodes of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta on her flat-screen TV via the BET Plus app. It was almost 11 p.m. She presumed Tori to be asleep. She laughed at Mama D speaking her mind as usual, but her laughing was interrupted by a timid knock. "I know damn well this boy's still not up," she whispered to herself. "Come in, boy," she yelled after pausing her show. "Mama, they want to help me again," Tori pleaded. Francine set her wine glass down on top of her plastic drawers from Walmart that served as a nightstand. "Boy, who is they?" "The voices," Tori exclaimed. "Boy, you having nightmares?" Francine asked, connecting the dots that these occurrences only happened at night. "No, Mama, I'm awake. King T'Challa heard it too," he said, holding up his action figure. "Go to bed, Tori," she yelled, but only out of fear. What her son was hearing or not hearing, she could only imagine. She stared at him a little longer than she usually would as he made his exit from her room. She snatched her iPhone off her bed. Her long, red-painted nails click-clacked against the screen as she went and viewed her Ring camera footage. Tori's room was directly above the front door, so the voices he heard could have very well been passerbyers, but she saw no one. The next day, when she took Tori to B.J. Ward Elementary, instead of pulling into the drop-off lane, she pulled into the parking lot and parked. "Mama, what are you doing? Don't you got to go to work?" Tori inquired. "Come on," she ordered. She held her son's hand as they marched to the front of BJ Ward, where Tori's teacher, Mrs. Patterson, stood, greeting students and parents. Miss Walters, Mrs. Patterson exclaimed, your parent classroom observance day visit isn't for another 2 weeks. What brings you here? My son telling me he hearing voices at night, talking about they want to help him. That's what's bringing me here, Francine retorted. Now I know good and well I'm not teaching him this mess. So what in the world you got going on in that classroom? Mrs. Patterson's mouth hung open in shock as she tried to fetch a response. Miss Walters, I can assure you that that's none of my doing, Mrs. Patterson said before stepping a little closer to Francine. But if it persists, she said, lowering her tone so that only Francine could hear her, I recommend seeking a professional. Francine's face scrunched with distaste. Damn, does your lesson plan include not brushing your teeth? 'Cause your breath smells like you brushing with well water, Francine said. And you a damn fool if you think I'm gonna take my child to go get diagnosed and drugged up. Francine kissed her son goodbye, then left the premises. That weekend, Francine had her longtime male friend Skinny over one evening. They sat in the downstairs living room. After Francine vented to Skinny about her son's senile actions, they let Tubi randomly pick a movie. They watched Rockhurst, a movie that was an adaptation of a book written by Cyrus Dale. About halfway through the movie, Tori came downstairs and told his mother that the voices again wanted to help him. Francine exhaled in immense displeasure. And you want me to go up and check Lil Man's room for monsters? Skinny asked Francine. No, Tori interrupted. You're not my daddy. You don't get to go in my room. Only my mama. Skinny chuckled. Boy, you better watch your mouth how you talk to grown people. You hear? Tori nodded. Now let's go up to your room, Francine told her son. When they got up to Tori's room, Francine immediately started looking around as if she were executing a search warrant. She grabbed his action figures and pressed on them to see if they could talk, looked under his bed, searched his closet, and could not find any source of these voices. She knew it was all in his head. She left Tori up in his room and rejoined Skinny downstairs and cried. Every time she would stop, she would instantly start again. Skinny put his arm around her. It's time, he said. That night, Francine and Skinny called up the finest super evangelists that were in the area. They would be there the next morning, and they would be able to detect whether there was any demonic possession or something of the sort. At 6 a.m. the next morning, Debbie Carlson, a super evangelist from Rock of Ages in Maywood, showed up. At 6:30 a.m., Peter Marks, a super evangelist from Victory Cathedral across town, arrived. The both of them went into Tori's room where it was just the three of them. The door was shut, leaving Francine to wonder what was going on. She eagerly awaited the door to open as if she were awaiting results from a cancer biopsy. Both super evangelists told her that it would take about an hour. So when super evangelist Debbie Carlson walked out of the room with all of her belongings in hand after just 5 minutes, Francine was perplexed. Where you going? Francine asked. Back to 15th and Madison. Ain't nothing wrong with that boy, super evangelist Debbie Carlson said as she power walked downstairs and out the door, flinging the screen door open. Immediately after, super evangelist Petey Marks smoothly walked out of the room, his beige trench coat waving in the wind that his walk created. And where you going? Francine asked with more conviction than previously. Back to Naperville. I got about an hour before my wife get back from her overnight shift and the bitchin' starts. Naperville? Francine asked. I thought you stayed in Bolingbrook. Nah, super evangelist Petey Marks corrected. Y'all too rowdy for me, and I concur with Debbie's old chunky ass. Ain't nothing wrong with that boy. How do y'all know? Francine pleaded. Super evangelist Marks ignored her and proceeded down the stairs and out the door. Francine went and held her son's hand, spoke an in-depth prayer, then dropped her son off to school. That night, Tori again told her of the voices. Francine cried, then phoned her sister Lorena. I think it's your damn house, girl, Lorena told Francine. It's not, Raina. It's not. It's Tori. How about this? Lorena said. How about I come get him for a few nights? I'll take him to school, pick him up, all that. And if he still hear the voices, we know it's him. But if he don't, we know it's your house. Francine stopped and thought about the idea for a second. Nah, girl, I don't want my son in the hood for that long. Lorena chuckled. Girl, you tried it. I stay on one of the best blocks in Austin. Stop playing with me. Francine approved of the plan. For the next week, Tori would stay at his Aunt Lorena's. During the second night of their experiment, Francine missed her son so much that she felt sick. So she went into her son's room and laid in his bed to try and find comfort. She dozed off, but was awakened by the words, How can I help you? She sat up in the bed, and she just knew for sure the house was haunted. Then she heard, Do y'all have any spicy chicken sandwiches left? Usually y'all out by this time of night. Immediately after, she heard, Welcome to Dunkin'. How can I help you? She then looked out of the window, where she saw the drive-thrus of Popeyes and Dunkin' being the voices that wanted to help. So there it is, guys. There it is, guys. The voices of Route 53. Thank you all for listening. If you like this, give this a like. Whether you liked it or disliked it or however you feel, please leave a comment below. I appreciate it.